Hello everyone, I guess hope they're having a wonderful day. Today we are here with the release of Topps Dynasty and some of the thoughts that I had sort of regarding this. This is a very hot topic, one of the hotter topics I would say in regards to soccer in a long time. Messi Inter Miami card sort of sparked something, but I don't think to this degree. This is a pretty big release. Soccer's had in the past Flawless and a couple Eminent sets and National Treasures that wasn't as high end, at least from my perspective, with a lot of sticker autos and stuff of the sort, player worn stuff. I mean, you even have that in Eminence to some extent, but basically on-card autos, game-worn patches, that's going to win the day, and so everyone's excited about this at the moment, and it did come out today, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. Some of my concerns that I do think are important, but also, how good the set is. Topps will really sell it for themselves in this video, so I don't have to, try to sell it with them. Instead, I'll take the stance of sort of being a little pessimistic, but there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like that, it is what it is. If you typically enjoy the videos, though, make sure to leave a like. I'd appreciate it greatly, but with that said, let's go ahead and get on over there. So heading on over to the website, we can sort of go through and see what Topps is selling us here. So they'll make a pretty good case for themselves. 2022-2023 Topps UCL Dynasty is coming out. Notably, this is a couple years late. We're currently at the start of 2024-2025 season. I've heard from some people, I heard from maybe other people, I heard from other people that it possibly could have been because Ronaldo was taking a while and didn't get anything signed for this, or just, maybe they had issues with the contract. I don't know. But basically, it's delayed a while. Soccer is a hard sport to make this type of a product for because, of course, you have so many people all over the world, and you have to get the cards there, get them signed, get them shipped back in a timely manner, and, of course, these soccer players have other things to do, so I doubt that this is of the utmost importance to them. That making this a difficult product to pull off, so I do congratulate Topps in that regard. So yeah, this is a couple years late, but it features stars and legends from the 2022-2023 season. Each box contains autographs that are 100% on card, and the relics are 100% match worn. Now that will take, some peeks at later, but at face value, 100% both ways, you get some really high-end soccer cards, no matter how you really want to look at this. We don't have other products in soccer where that exists, so that's pretty notable. I mean, there are certain cards, of course, where this exists, but to just have that be a blanket statement for the entire product is pretty important. All cards are also numbered to 10 or less, which personally, I guess if I'm buying a card of the value that these are going to go for, I would like for that to be the case, but as a buyer of sports cards in general, I don't enjoy products where the entirety of everything printed is numbered to 10 or less, because I think you're just heavily diluting what a numbered card is supposed to mean. But of course, the companies don't really care. That makes them the most money. That gets a lot of eyeballs. So of course, they're going to do it. And then you got inscriptions, dual on-card autographs, and star ball patch autographs, which we'll talk about as well. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the checklist and get an idea of what's here. One thing you'll see right away is that this heavily relies on past stars. Of course, if you just look up here, there's tons of them. Iniesta, Baresi, Trezeguet, Cannavaro, Lampard, Rijkaard, Torres, Buffon, Larson. Continuing on to the next page, more of the same. If we go to the third page, again, more of the same. Gareth Bale's basically the only sort of modern player that you can find in here. And then beyond that, again, more of the same. So from a perspective of past legends, and maybe people that are fans of those guys, you got a lot coming your way, so that is pretty exciting. There are mystery redemptions too, which of course people are speculating about. Beyond that, if we go to the Dynasty dual autograph cards again, here we have exclusively ex-players, at least from what I can tell. And then we get into the more modern day mixed with legends, and of course the first person we see is Ansu Fati, which, quite interesting. I'll go ahead and zoom in here. I probably should have done this earlier, but yeah, Ansu Fati up here. This is sort of one of the problems with delaying it a couple years. The prospects have sort of played out a bit at this point, and you're not getting the value for them anymore. Same thing down here with Kareem Adeyemi. John Terry's sort of a weird one as well. I definitely get Iniesta, Bale, Bellingham, Deco, I can understand. Kai Havertz is also sort of a weird one here. We also have a Celtic player above, but Kai Havertz on Chelsea at this point, probably not as beloved, I would say. Mason Mount on Chelsea, more of the same. There are some good ones though, like, Lewandowski, Muller, VVD. We got a Neymar and Barca, we got a Xavi. Now, there is a lot of sort of drawing on nostalgia here, which I do, beyond the players itself, the players, of course, having ex-players in there draws on nostalgia already, but then we have Neymar at Barca, which, yeah, it's playing years. Neymar's still playing, but he's not playing on Barca. So this is a throwback patch auto, which already, at least in my mind, sort of is put in a different category. However, for most people, they probably prefer Neymar Barca stuff. So I don't know how that plays out. Topps really cashing in on the nostalgia value there, but can you blame them, I guess? Beyond that, again, we sort of look through here like this is sort of just weird. Mukuku, Andy Robertson, then we have Pirlo, Del Piero, Kamavinga, and Holland. I guess, towards the bottom gets a bit better. But yeah, I mean, looking at the rest of the checklist, more names that you'd expect, some kind of weird ones, but, you can't win them all, so not everything's going to be a big hitter. Got a lot of Messi's down here, some Neymar, and then some Manchester United guys for the most part. But yeah, looking at the rest of it, I mean, it's just more of the same autographs used in different ways, the same people. But yeah, from the perspective of just looking at the checklist, to me, I'm a bit concerned, at least from the perspective of collectability for a lot of these cards, because many of these players are retired, and many of the players that are actually even playing at this moment have throwback cards to old jerseys and stuff like that. So for me, there's not a large percentage of these high-end cards that are actually, playing days right now in this moment, where they're at, signing for them. I think that would be a pretty genuine, authentic sort of release, but this seems to draw a lot more nostalgia, which I understand, but I do sort of wonder about a bit. Now, we didn't talk about the prices of the box, which is, of course, pretty important. We can't see it here, and I don't think I can see it if I click the next page, but basically a single box itself was selling for like $1,200, I think, and a case was $5,000 to $6,000, somewhere in there. Those are pretty close numbers. It's just I'm not sure on the exact number, so give me a little leeway, but not crazily priced, to be honest. Now, part of the problem is these get into the hands of breakers, and then breakers end up charging 1.5, 2, maybe 2.5 times what they're actually worth once all the break slots are put together. So if you're buying it from a breaker, a regular box is probably closer to $2,000, and a case probably closer to 10, maybe more. So for this next part and another part in the video, I will be digging into the Vintage Soccer Discord, which is a Discord, of course, about vintage soccer, but it also discusses modern soccer as well. It has areas for that, and people were sort of going through some of the breaks of different cases and seeing what was hit. So the first one we're looking at here, the person says probably 10K, maybe break even. Now, again, notably, the breakers are charging about double for a case. So if the case costs $5,000 to $6,000, it's anywhere from 10 to 15 for the most part. Now here, notably, we have a Harry Kane Starball patch auto, which is probably the biggest of the hitters. Beyond that, you have a Michael Owen, Darwin, Vinny, and a KDB. And so this is supposed to, and so if the Harry Kane does big numbers, then this will be a pretty decent case, but if not, then it definitely won't. The next case cost was unknown, but again, just assume 10K-ish, maybe a little more. And the hits from this were Thomas Muller patch auto, John Terry patch auto, Lautaro Martinez, an Erling Haaland, and a Marcel Desailly and Gianfranco Zola. Now here, the Haaland's going to be the big hitter, but in terms of getting the value back in the box, probably not, closer to $5,000 to $6,000. Now keep that in mind. A lot of these estimated valuations will be around $5,000 to $6,000 if they don't hit anything all too crazy. I mean, Erling Haaland, pretty good one, but not a crazy Erling Haaland. The next one, the price of the case went for $14,000, and the value of the box was probably $5,000, at least in terms of what this person is estimating, which, given that the original case cost $5,000, means that the case itself did pay for the case. However, the breaker charging $14,000 on it, and that might not be the breaker's fault. I mean, that's what people are obviously willing to pay, so there's, blame on both ends, but the breaker comes out with $9,000 in this scenario, and the loss to the customers is also $9,000, so basically the customers are paying the price on that one. When we look at this one, it says that the case cost $11,000 in terms of break totality, and the value hit was $4,500. Now you can debate that value. Me personally, do I think every card here is basically a $1,000 card? Probably not. We'll talk about that here in a second, but just something of note. And then we had another one that cost $11,000 with apparently the value being $5,000, but this one has a Ronaldo, so seemingly that would be a bit better. But again, still probably a decent loss on that. And then finally beyond that, this case, they did hit a Messi auto, and this guy values it. It's still a loss, and, make that out however you want. That might not be a loss, but basically you have to get some of the best hits to even break even on a box, especially when going through breaks. But if you're not going through breaks, it's actually a pretty good rip, at least from what all of this is showing. Now, of course, that does take into account, do these prices sustain for these types of players? Are you going to get, hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, or maybe even thousands of dollars for a Stoichkov patch auto or a Rafael Leao patch auto? I don't know, but time will tell. In terms of why I sort of question, the prices on some of this stuff, and especially if breaking this is worth it at all. I mean, seemingly breaking is never worth it, but like in this scenario, I really don't see it, because, a Wayne Rooney auto, of course, Wayne Rooney, not the biggest of big hits, but in terms of Manchester United legends, one of the best. And, a card like this from Eminence 2018 goes for $400. The highest Wayne Rooney auto that we can find from like an Eminence type set this last year was this one, a stud auto that went for, what was it, 1,300 out of 5. I mean, to me, this is a really, really good hit, but it basically would just pay for the price of a box of Topps Dynasty upon release, which it's already sold out at. So whatever secondary is, I don't even know, it would probably be a pretty good loss. Now you say to yourself, well, if I hit the biggest Messi, biggest Ronaldo, I guess not Cristiano, but you get the idea. we will look at a Cristiano Ronaldo, because I was just sort of curious, actually. I looked up solo of the game, and then I ended up seeing these Ronaldos, and this one was 5,000, which to me, when you're talking about a case of Topps Dynasty being broke at 10 to 15,000, depending on the breaker, and this from 2015, 2016 Flawless goes for 5,000. And the funny thing is, this didn't even sell. It's relisted on Burbank's, eBay site. I guess they still have an eBay. I thought all that went over to Fanatics, but what do I know? Nonetheless, this was relisted. So I don't know what that's about. And also, a gold out of 10 was attempted to be sold by Toll. I despise Toll, but I mean, he had to relist it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6, 7 times, and one of these actually went for 3,900 because people just stopped bidding at some point. And this is a 10 out of 10 gold sold the game Cristiano Ronaldo. Sure, it goes a little off card, whatever, but this would be an amazing card to theoretically hit, and it's really not going to make you win a case. So I wonder about this type of stuff. And another thing that concerns me is a lot of this flawless eminence type stuff was really aided by not having much of this out at the time, right? I mean, high-end soccer is scarce. So when this stuff was as scarce as it was, it becomes much more valuable. As more and more of it comes out, maybe the early stuff still maintains value, but some of the later stuff may not as much. And if we go back and check in terms of pre-boom, it was 800 to maybe 1,000, maybe a little bit more depending on the one. I mean, a one of one went for 2,500. I mean, just think about that for a second. But these amazing cards upon release were barely going for 1,000 depending on which one it was. Of course, this is back when no one cared about soccer. It was much less, adored in the hobby. But all that to say that in 8 years, we have gone from the best of the best cards and one of the best modern sets ever going for $1,000 to everyone paying over $1,000 to get a box of this Topps Dynasty where you're probably just going to get nothing. You're probably going to get a failed prospect. Maybe you get a throwback to an older guy, a patch auto. But like when a playing days Cristiano Ronaldo soul of the game still currently only goes for 5,000, and people are breaking these cases of modern Topps Dynasty for 10 to 15,000, really makes you wonder what we're doing here, right? Now, beyond comparing the prices and all that stuff, I will say I thought Topps was pretty egregious with their marketing of this. Now, I understand that they have to market it, but to me, it didn't really help. Like, Topps Dynasty almost markets itself in the sense that high-end soccer is just something that people will chase. You don't really have to make it a big deal, but of course Topps is going to because it draws more eyeballs and all that stuff. So we'll look at this video here. And, notably, you're going to see a lot of one-of-one Messis, but also different kits, right? So there's 3, there's another 2, there's another 2, and down here there's going to be 2 more. So all in all, 9 one-of-ones right there. I wouldn't assume that that's all of them. Actually, they then go and show another one, I think, so definitely not. But just to see 9 one-of-ones all lined up right there, along with this one, and seemingly there being more in the product. I haven't put together how many one-of-ones, but just seeing them all together and with different kits, and it just ruins it a little bit to me. Again, the point of one-of-one should be that they're exceedingly rare, but when you open this product, actually the whole product combined, I think it's a 10% chance that when you open it, you're getting a one-of-one, and to me that sort of defeats the point. Then Topps a little bit later says if there was ever a Logo Man equivalent for soccer cards, it would probably be the Starball Relic. Topps UCL Dynasty is truly a soccer card product unlike any other. And to me, I mean, go ahead and show the cards, whatever, but they're trying to push this narrative that the Logo Man of soccer is the Starball, which is so egregious because I think it misses entirely what the point of a Logo Man is supposed to be, or an NFL Shield, or whatever that equivalent of that is in other sports. You want something where you can only make one card out of it, right? Just one card. That's supposed to be the thing. It's supposed to be a true one-of-one in some sense. And even then, they can't get that right. They try to make a Starball a one-of-one. And as you can tell, there's different patches within the Starball. Like, look at that. Messi right here, 2 Starballs, 3 Starballs. Like, you can make so many of them. That's the whole point of the one-of-one. And Topps clearly doesn't understand that. There was a poll that Soccer Cards HQ did where he asked, and like I think 80-90% of people said it's not a Logo Man, but the people at Topps sure did think so, and I think that's a pretty embarrassing take on their end. And again, I don't think you have to pump a product like that, but alas, they choose to. And then finally, James Cards FC. I cannot go on his story anymore, or I can go on it now. And he has some pretty good takes in terms of what you can buy with this type of stuff, the money that it costs to be able to get a break spot for these guys or buy a card, whatever it may be. But the types of cards you can get for some of these guys are just incredible in terms of their career cards. I mean, we just saw a blue Topps Chrome Ronaldo PSA 10. Everyone loves that, and presumably that didn't get paid because it's by a guy on eBay that never pays for his stuff and always shills them. Nonetheless, you could still get it. Ronaldo rookies, all this stuff. I mean, just an amazing point there. But he also did some investigative work in terms of where the Erling Haaland jersey came from. So the jersey from over here, yeah, I guess, Topps did actually have it in this post as well. The Salzburg version of this, and again, like so many one-of-ones, just kind of makes me want to puke, but the Salzburg jersey here is from a 2019 league game against, or Champions League game against Liverpool, and these are from his rookie season. And so they're trying to make like ex-rookie cards, ex-rookie patch autos for Haaland, which, inventive, I guess, but again, sort of trying to cash in on the nostalgia. But James then did some research and sort of, pointed back to this golden sale. And so this is the sale, a 2019 Erling Haaland game-used Red Bull Salzburg jersey from his Champions League match against Liverpool. So matches up identically, pretty hefty price paid, I will say, almost 40K, puts a little respect on the patches they got in there for sure. But we go ahead and look further. At least, from me looking at this, it doesn't look game used in the sense that, like, does it show any signs of wear and tear? I mean, not really. Not to say that it has to. I mean, maybe it didn't fall over much. I don't know. And it's also black, so it's probably hard to tell. But they took a picture of some of the more intricate details, I guess, of it. And then we go ahead and look at this. So notably, this is Mirrors, a company that sort of authenticates this type of stuff or gives their opinion. And notably, this is a letter of opinion up at the top. So this is a third-party company giving their assessment of what they think based off of what the jersey looks like. I don't believe it's even photo matched or anything of that level, which even photo matching is sort of sketchy in and of itself. I don't think it's that. I think they're just looking at the jersey, noting what it looks like and if that matches what a Haaland jersey should look like for that game, right? So here we have like the issue, the stage of career, the material, the league logo, manufacturer's logo, all this stuff, the sizing, tons of stuff that gives you some sort of detail in terms of what it looks like, but doesn't really give you a final answer. Now they do, I guess they do say that they think it's authentic. If we go back here, the grade up at the top here, final grade, is authentic. So they think it's authentic, but again, it's a letter of opinion. It's just their perception of what they think is real. So the question would be then, how much is Mirrors trusted, right? What sort of respect do they have in the space? And obviously that's for each person to decipher. The first thing that should be pointed out is that Topps Dynasty, I guess if we go back over here, they say that all relics are 100% match worn. Now, to say that when you're taking opinions of other grading companies, I mean, you don't really know that yourself. You're taking the leap of faith that every time they say that something is real, that it is, and you don't know that. So that's already problematic. But in terms of Mirrors, I've actually seen some things on them over the years that doesn't make me think the highest of them. One, I've seen them just put up tons of soccer stuff as authentic from like the 1930s, where it's like, I have no clue how they would even know if it's authentic, but yet they claim it to be authentic. But a pretty egregious example here is from the Vintage Discord as well. So back in, what was this, earlier this year, there was a Jim Morrison worn vest, apparently from Hollywood Bowl concert. I don't know. This is before my time, but this guy goes into detail, basically just, well, not even really that much detail. It doesn't take much time, but Mean Gene in the Discord goes ahead and talks about it, and you can see it here up on screen. I guess I'll open it in the browser. We could give a deeper look. So yeah, over here on the left-hand side, we have a pretty intricate detail in terms of what this concert worn vest looks like. And so this was being auctioned by Golden earlier this year. It was already at $7,500 and it had 14 days left. So seemingly this was going to go for tens of thousands. And this is an item that you would think Mirrors is probably going to have to spend some time authenticating, correct? However, in a YouTube video displaying the concert, you can see here at the 3-minute mark, there's the back of the vest, literally 3 minutes into the video. So if Mirrors had gone and looked at this video within 3 minutes, they would be able to tell that this is not authentic. But essentially just look at the pattern here, take some notes. So the first thing I guess that's very easy is right here at the bottom of the stem, there is this sort of bejeweled item and it's right in the center. When you look over here, there's none of that sort going on. I mean, it doesn't exist, right? So clearly not the same, just simply off that one middle piece. I mean, even if you look at the sides, these are straight over here on the edges. Then if you look over here, these are curled. So again, just not even close. I mean, I can see how generally it looks the same and maybe you could think that, but clearly not the same. If you spend, more than 30 seconds, more than 10 seconds looking at this, have some little kid, on a restaurant diner sort of menu, be able to spot the differences. I mean, a child could do it. So how this is deemed authentic by Mears and then sold by Golden, pretty crazy. I mean, and this is why this type of stuff, and honestly even game-worn stuff in general, unless it has provenance, unless it's coming from a player, unless there's some sort of something behind it, or even like photo matching, if there is enough stuff to be able to spot it, I sort of get it. But on a jersey like this, where literally there's nothing on it, it's just black jersey, barely any, signs of use. And then this goes for $40K off a letter of authenticity that, I guess a letter of opinion, not even a letter of authenticity. I guess that's an important part. From a company that couldn't even tell that, this was not this. And so in terms of relics, I think that that's something people need to be wary about themselves. And even the companies, I mean, more importantly, if you're going to promote this as 100% match worn, you should have more than a letter of opinion from a company that most people don't even know. There should be a higher standard placed on this type of stuff than there currently is, and that makes me a little nervous. But as far as the winners of all this, I'd say that Topps and Breakers are going to be the ones coming out on top. Topps being able to instantly sell out on a high-end soccer product is a win for them, especially at a good number. They also actually made a product that sort of offers a lot of return on investment, if that's what you want to call it. I wouldn't call this an investment, but maybe expected value in terms of what you get back for your money spent. If you were buying this from the site, I do feel like it's pretty fair. The Breakers, however, have since probably bought most of this product and will continue to buy a lot of this product, and the people breaking it will be hurt significantly from that. But of course, people breaking probably know they're going to lose. And, for the collectors, that's going to be sort of a toss-up to be determined, right? Where does this stuff play out? I do think the people that go in and buy initially are probably going to be hurt pretty badly, but eventually there's going to, of course, be a sweet spot where I do think that collectors are going to be able to get some pretty good cards of players they love, which is, a good thing. So that's it for Topps Dynasty. Hopefully you're excited, and would love to hear your thoughts down below in a comment. Make sure to let me know and others. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and